Hey, it's Kelly. Welcome back to my channel where we talk all about gentle skincare and sometimes self-care. So if that's your vibe, please consider hitting subscribe. And you know what time it is. It is time for June favorites already. I can't believe it. And this is the video where I get to share with you all of the skincare and beauty products that have made a big impression on me this month. So let's jump right into the picks, give the video a big thumbs up, and let's get started. So I have to start off with the Haruharu Wonder Black Rice Hyaluronic Toner. And I feel really silly because a couple of months ago, I don't remember what video it was. It was in April or maybe in March where I said like it's not blowing my mind. Remember when I first started trying it out and I was like, I think I need a little bit more time with this, but like right now it's not like immediately wowing me. I might have even said in that video, like it's possible it'll become a favorite down the road, but like right now, yeah, and that was exactly the right prediction because it wasn't right for me right at that particular moment. And honestly, testing new skincare like in the middle of spring can be very hit or miss for me because that season my skin is so changeable. It's really unbalanced, and it's really the season where I go through some of my biggest like skin like ups and downs, if you know what I mean. I'm like more prone to pimples and breakouts. I'm more prone to barrier issues, sensitivity, all kinds of stuff because of allergies, inflammation, and just the changing weather. In summertime, in the warmer weather, my skin really just kind of like balances out, and like all it wants is plumping hydration, lots of layers with lots of hydration. And so that's why this is a favorite in June, is because that's where this toner fits into my summertime routine, whereas in my spring routine it didn't really have a place. So you know I love watery, pure hydration toners like Make Prem and Soonjung, right? I love those toners. Those are like my holy grail types of products. Love them. This isn't quite that. This is hydrating, but it's more of a toner with some body to it. As you kind of pour it out from the bottle, you'll notice it has a little bit more of that, I call it like that syrupy type of texture. That's definitely because of the hyaluronic acid content in here. It does have a little bit more of that bouncy body to it. That's really great because it kind of like plumps up your skin and makes it kind of juicy. But that does mean that those types of toners have a little bit of a heavier or a heftier feel on the skin. Even though they're hydrating, they maybe bring a little bit of balance or moisture, or maybe even they feel a little, depending on your skin type and what you've been using in the rest of your skincare routine, they can sometimes feel a little sticky on top. And I found that I like to use this in my like hydration sandwich method. 1 to 2 layers of something like purely watery, like the Make Prem toner, which I absolutely love. I'll do a layer or 2 of that, and then I'll do a layer of this. And this kind of just like, because it's got that little heftier, that kind of balancing kind of quality, that little plumping quality to it, that first watery toner like sinks in real deep into my skin, and then that more plumping toner kind of sits on top and like hugs it in and kind of like helps lock it into place. And it kind of takes the place of like a thicker essence or like a really like moisturizing maybe serum or something, which is something I like to use in colder weather. It's just too darn hot for that kind of skincare right now. So this is that perfect kind of light, hydrating, breathable, plumping skincare that feels so good in humidity, but still kind of gives that like hugging in action. For my dehydrated skin, it's like, mwah, chef's kiss. It's perfect. Is it going to become an all-time holy grail classic? Probably not. But is it, you know, one of those toners that I'm going to go back to for specific reasons, maybe for specific seasons? I think so, especially because it is so affordable. And I have to talk about the Purito Dermide Balancing Barrier Balm. Now, just heads up, I did do some some sponsored content with Purito at the beginning of June that did feature this product. This is not sponsored. I like to be clear about that. You know, I like to be very upfront. This is not sponsored, but this is actually the product out of the Dermide line that I did test and review in that video. This is probably the product that I reach for the most, and the product that seems to be making the biggest difference in my like transitional skincare. You know, that shift into warmer temperatures does mean a shift in my skincare routine. I do have combination skin. I'm always saying this. It's always important to remember that I'm dealing with 2 different zones on my face. The dry area tends to be less dry in the summer. The oily area tends to be a little bit more oily, but generally speaking, things kind of start to come into balance a lot more in the summer. Part of the reason why it's really my favorite season of the year is because my skin is just so low key during these times. But all that being said, I am on tretinoin, which does kind of make that dry area just a little bit drier even in the summertime. time. So I do like to have a handful of my TLC extra moisturizing products that I usually just put in my U-zone. This is the type of product that is perfect for my skin in summertime because this is a balm texture. So it's not like rich and like maybe even oily like a heavier dry skin kind of cream would be that's like loaded up with lots of oils. It doesn't have that super duper rich, nourishing, moisturizing effect on the skin. It's actually this like kind of like balmy cream texture, a little bit of moisture balance, not a lot of rich oils in here, like not overly moisturizing the skin, but this actually has a really good amount of occlusivity to it that's not as occlusive as like just putting Aquaphor on your face. And that's that perfect balance. It just strikes that perfect balance for me in this hot weather. It just needs a little bit of balancing moisture on top of my final moisturizer, just a little extra with the occlusive element. That's the key for me in dehydration. I need that extra occlusivity in that vulnerable area. That's what this provides without overloading my skin, causing congestion, causing clogged pores, right? So it's like that perfect texture. It's still breathable, but there's a good amount of occlusivity to this. We've got ceramides, we've got cholesterol, we've got actually quite a few different fatty acid components in the ingredients here that are really helping with your skin's barrier, but just this really nice texture that I super enjoy. You can use this as a moisturizer. You can use this as like a spot treatment for vulnerable areas. You can use this as a sleeping pack. I think I always like those multi-purpose types of products because I'm always kind of experimenting with what products can do for my skin and finding new ways to use them. And I think that's why I like this so much because I'm finding this to actually be slightly more multi-purpose than I was expecting. So I wanted to shout it out in my favorites video because like anything that I've been reaching for over and over again all month long definitely deserves a shout out. The Avene Mineral Multi-Defense Sunscreen Fluid. I did do a dedicated video to this. So if you want to dive super duper deep into this, check it out right up here. I'm going to put it right up here for you guys. You can check that one out. But I have to name it as a monthly favorite because this is saving my skin. I love this sunscreen so much. I gave it a really high rating in that video. And I was kind of on a roll with mineral sunscreens. I've discovered quite a few that I actually am enjoying a lot. But this one probably takes the cake. This one is just really, really impressing me. And my skin is loving it. A big part of the reason why I've been talking a lot about mineral sunscreens. It's actually two things. Number one, I know that my channel lacks reviews about mineral sunscreens because they've just historically not been very successful for me, right? So that's just where my interests lie. I'm a little bit more interested in chemical sunscreens and I have a higher success rate with them. So that's number one. I'm just trying to like get some more mineral sunscreen reviews out there for you. But also, secondly, I have been having really sensitive skin to sunscreen over the last couple of months and it's incredibly confusing and it's really frustrating, but like mineral sunscreens to the rescue as I'm trying to work out what the heck's going on with my skin. I think my body has been reacting to allergies like so intensely that it's made everything else, like especially with my skin, a lot more sensitive. So my reactions have been kind of like off the charts, if you will. So I think I'm just trying to get my immune system to calm down a little bit. And that's where mineral sunscreens come in because it's like, let's not keep like testing my body. Let's just like get the sunscreen protection that I need without like testing my skin or like experimenting too much with different filters. And so I think that's why I've been reaching for mineral sunscreens a lot, but this is the one that's really taken the cake. And I like this especially because of the water and sweat resistance that this has. I think that's probably the main factor between all the other mineral sunscreens I've given favorable reviews to, because this has really good sweat resistance and we're in the thick of humidity and heat season. I think that's why this has just been serving me so well, especially this month. It doesn't have a very obvious white cast on my skin. It doesn't build up in my eyebrows, which it happens every time with mineral sunscreens. I feel like I rubbed it in really good and then in the middle of the day I'm looking in the mirror and I can see all these like streaks across my face. I'm like, you know, it's embarrassing. It's like, do other people see this too? Do I look like I can't rub sunscreen into my face? Or like I'll see it like all clumped up around my dark eyebrows and it's just like, ugh. Always feeling a little bit like a mess, you know, when I wear mineral sunscreen. But this doesn't make me feel that way at all. I feel really pulled together when I wear this. It stays put. It actually holds up against sweaty workouts that I've been doing in the middle of the day. So it's just like really that right type of summer sunscreen. It's not making my skin feel super duper dry. And I have to say that's really where the Purito Balm comes in, because sometimes I'll just layer this under the sunscreen in the morning just to make sure I've got that little extra protective layer in that vulnerable area. And then I'm not really having any issues with this. So even though mineral sunscreen does tend to dry my skin a little bit, this one's not that bad. And I feel like just a little extra moisture underneath and then afterwards is all I need. That's a trade-off that I'm willing to make to get my skin to calm down. Because for whatever reason, sunscreen's just not agreeing with it. On a side note, though, I will tell you the one that is working for me, the chemical sunscreen that I'm not having issues with, is the Beauty of Joseon Rice and Probiotic Sunscreen. And I suspect it's because it's all new generation filters. A lot of the chemical sunscreens that have been bugging my skin are using some mixture of the old and new generation. And I think it's those old generation filters that are really testing my sensitive skin right now. So the Beauty of Joseon one still stands. It still works, but it's not sweat resistant. This one from Avene is, and that's why I've been reaching for this a lot more. And I'm even considering taking this with me on a trip that I know it's going to be hot and sweaty, and I feel like this is like the trustworthy product that's going to go on my face, and I know it's going to stand up to the heat and humidity. So definitely a June fave. Next up is Allies of Skin Liquid Panacea, and this is actually part of their Purposeful Skin by Allies subline under Allies of Skin. I was really excited about this because Allies of Skin is such a premium skincare brand. Like, the few things that I have been lucky enough to try from that brand have been amazing, but they have come with $100 plus price tags. And while I sometimes like a little bit of that fancy skincare, the core of all of my skincare routines is always going to be very affordable, because that's just where my budget is at. Like, that's just my reality, right? So I was really excited to see that this is actually incredibly affordable. This particular product, part of their PSA line, it retails about $30. It's a fraction of the price of what a serum from Allies of Skin would cost. We're talking like $130. And they specifically came out with the PSA line to offer more affordable solutions. I think this is a really smart move from them, because I really like what they do. I like their formulations. I like their products, but I have a hard time recommending them because of the price points, right? The PSA line, this is totally in my budget, and I have to talk about Liquid Panacea because I am in love with this. Oh man, like, this speaks to my skincare so much about this. I really enjoy, and I did use this in a skincare routine. I think the video came out in May, and I was telling you I was like just starting to try it out at that point in time. I couldn't tell you that much. I can tell you so much more now. So I love this because the ingredients, first and foremost, 5% of Centella and 6% of Kombucha tea and white tea extract. Love. Centella is so great for this sensitive skin. You know, I love tea extract too. It's a really potent antioxidant that really helps protect your skin from UV damage. It's definitely something that can help with like the overall complexion, because I just find that like tea really makes my complexion glow. It's not necessarily helping with like dark marks or anything, but it always gives me a really healthy lit from within glow, especially like green tea, but even kombucha, because you know, the other product that I like, the Dr. Cerecal Vegan Kombucha Tea Essence, I always say that makes my skin glow. It's the tea in that. It's just like a really good match for my skin. This also has like madecassoside in it. It's really focused on skin strengthening, soothing, and delivering a lot of protective antioxidants. This is actually called a booster. I just use this as a serum, especially in my morning time routine. This is giving me everything like a morning serum should. Lots of antioxidant protection, hydration, a little bit of moisture in a really pleasant texture. This has that emulsion texture that like I cannot resist. You know, some of my favorite serum products have that milky, hydrating, moisturizing, balancing, kind of plumping type of texture. This has that, and I am a sucker for it. My skin just drinks it up and loves it. Even in this hot weather, this is balanced just right. It's not sticky, it's not greasy, it's not like an overly rich type of emulsion, but it gives you that little bit of bounce, that little bit of moisture, that little bit of hydration. It feels so good. And I don't know, I've been using this like every single morning for over a month now, and I think my skin is glowing. You know, sensitive skin issues aside, with like the sunscreen issues that I've been having, like my skin has just been looking really healthy lately, and I've been like really surprised. I think this is part of it. I don't think it's the only reason why. I think it's the combination of everything, right? But I do wonder, with like all of that Centella, all of that tea extract, all of those soothing, extracts, all of those antioxidants, that's just that right like protective element to add into a morning routine, especially now that the UV is getting so high in my area. I feel like really protected with this. It's not like super duper soothing on my skin, but it feels awesome. You know what I mean? Like the texture just feels really good. And my skin, I think, is stronger for having used it in the long run. So I'm a big fan of it. It's kind of tiny. For $30, I'll admit it's kind of tiny, but to get a taste of what Allies of Skin can do and get a taste of their formulations and stuff, I'm very excited that they've come out with a lot more affordable line, because that's something that they were seriously lacking. And I can confidently recommend this one because I feel so much more comfortable with the price. So I have to shout out the Peach and Lily Ginger Melt Cleansing Oil. I've been enjoying this, and I actually didn't think I was going to. This was something that surprised me. Now, surprisingly, this is a fragrance-free product. Based on the name, I wasn't actually expecting it to be fragrance-free. I was expecting it to have some kind of ginger element to it. It does not. It doesn't have a scent to it at all. And I'm absolutely A-okay with that because, I try to avoid fragrance in my skincare. So surprisingly, don't let the name fool you. This does not have fragrance or essential oils in it. And this actually has a thick, kind of like luxurious type of texture, almost like cushiony on the skin. I wasn't expecting that. I don't usually go for that. I usually like a thinner type of cleansing oil, like a little bit more liquidy. This is a little bit almost more like, it's an oil cleanser, but it almost reminds me of like a gel texture in a way, because it's got that kind of cushiony feel, that kind of bouncy feel on the skin. It still spreads really beautifully, and it breaks down makeup really effectively, like super thick layers of sunscreen. It works on waterproof makeup very, very well. Like, I've been impressed with the cleansing powers, and even though it is thicker, and I'm calling it kind of like luxurious texture, but it is thicker on the skin, it washes away like in a snap, cleanly, no film, no like heaviness, no like residue on the skin, and it works super well. I've been wearing waterproof mascara now for not quite a year, but close to it. So I've been putting a bunch of cleansers up to the test, and I'll say not every single like first cleanser is up to the task of breaking down waterproof mascara without a lot of working it into the eyelashes or having to follow up with a separate eye makeup remover to kind of clean up the residue afterwards. Not every single, first cleanser can handle that. I feel like this can. So it really like ticks the boxes for me. And yeah, I've really been enjoying it this month. So what a way to kick off the summer season, right? This is really my favorite time of year. And at the end of every monthly favorites, I'm always thinking like, what message do I want to leave you with? Like what piece of encouragement, or like what lesson do I want to share? And I knew right away for this month that I wanted to share the message of putting yourself out there. Get out there, enjoy life, and expand your comfort zone just a little bit. I live in a Four Seasons place, and the winter is very, very, very harsh. We don't go outside. It's too cold. And you find yourself hibernating quite a bit. And even in the spring, it's not like this like beautiful like time where everything is going green. It's quite rainy and dreary and still quite cold, right? So you got to slowly emerge from that season, and you're just kind of slowly warming up. And I feel like once summer hits, the energy is just so infectious around me because people are getting out there, they're exploring, they're socializing, they're having fun, they're really getting into that summer state of mind and really that summer vibe. And like I said, it's infectious, and I really just feel like it's full of life and excitement. And I'm feeling that, you know what I mean? I'm feeling that good old summer excitement, almost like when you're in school and you're just like looking forward to summer vacation because like it's a whole different lifestyle. That's how I feel every time summer comes around. I'll be honest with you though, the last couple of summers haven't quite held that like excitement for me because going out, getting yourself out there was full of anxiety. What are the case levels? Who's getting sick? Are people going to be wearing masks? How many people are going to be there? Am I going to be able to social distance? I don't know if I feel comfortable. I don't know if it's worth the risk, right? That's how I was feeling over the last 2 years. We're really starting to move from the pandemic to the endemic phase. It's kind of a weird in between place that we're in, right? It is. And things are just changing every single week. And we're just rolling with it, right? And we're so used to it by now. We're really experts at rolling with it. And I think that we should roll with it a lot more this summer. I think that we should try to expand our comfort zones and try to put ourselves out there a little bit more. It's going to look different for everybody. It might mean, going out to like a, backyard party or something with people maybe you haven't seen for a long time, because it maybe wasn't something that was comfortable for you then, but maybe it is now, and you got to put yourself out there a little bit. Maybe it's meeting up with old friends. Maybe it's, doing something that kind of scares you, doing something you've always wanted to do, but maybe for pandemic reasons, you've held yourself back, or just treating yourself to like a change of pace, kind of expand the comfort zone, do something you normally wouldn't have done, challenge yourself a little bit, kind of challenge maybe your anxiety just a little bit. That's definitely what I'm doing. I'm about to go on a trip all by myself. Solo travel in any time, would have been kind of scary, right? Because you don't know what to expect. I've never done it before, besides for small trips, here stateside, like, just an hour away from my home or something. That feels a little bit different. This is a much bigger trip with a much further distance. And yeah, it's definitely something that like, it's really exciting. It's something I want to do. It's something that scares me, but I'm doing it, and I'm going to put myself out there because this is something I've always wanted to do. I'm not going to hold myself back. Have I been worried about like traveling in the era of COVID and like tests and requirements and masks and getting back into the United States? Yes, I'm worried about that. I'm worried about maybe having to quarantine. Absolutely. But I'm assessing my risk, and I'm feeling like, as much as like my anxiety is maybe like, no, don't. I know that this is what I want to do. I feel good about this choice, and so I'm going to put myself out there, and I'm going to expand that comfort zone just a little bit. And I know that like I'm going to be better for it, So I'm not saying that you have to go take a trip and like challenge everything, but just do a little something, just one little thing that scares you. Do that. So I really want to know what products you really enjoyed this month. Let me know in the comment box below. If you enjoyed this video, but for some reason you made it all the way to the end and you haven't hit subscribe yet, please do consider hitting subscribe to my channel. I release a lot of new skincare and sometimes self-care videos just like this one. So do consider hitting subscribe and turning on notifications so you're never out of the loop when the new content drops. I hope you are healthy, happy, and safe. I can't wait to see you in the next video, and I love you so much. Bye.